Hey everybody, welcome to Reading the Bible to Cats. And yeah, I hope you all are doing well. I feel pretty peppy this morning, which is a good thing. Maybe it's because I cheated and had a little teeny weeny bit of sugar in a treat that I had. I don't know. Frankly, sweet things do make me happy. I have to say it. But it was like a tiny little bite of it was pretty much like all healthful ingredients like date paste and chia seeds and goji berries, and then on the ingredients there, sugar. But it's only like I probably only had 4 grams of sugar, so not that you're interested in all that. But anyway, that little bit of sugar, I think it totally makes me happy. I don't know why that is. Um, but now after we record these videos, I'll have to get on my mini walking pad and walk for 10 minutes because I had a little bit of sugar. That's what I'm trying to do, everybody. Don't know why I'm talking in a funny voice right now, but it's happening. But it's yeah. It's the sugar saga. It's like it's difficult. But anyway, just a little bit is probably okay as long as I move after I eat it. Um, it's all those years of eating sugar, just willy nilly, free eating, like eating whatever. And now at my age, I'm like, oh, I guess it caught up with me. So now I have to be good and move. And I want to start lifting weights. And who knows, maybe I'll become a bodybuilder. Not likely, but anyway. What else? Well, let's read some Bible verses. Yeah, I don't know. It's not, I don't feel like I'm unhealthy, but there are some issues that need to be addressed for sure. I also think I'm terribly vitamin D deficient. So I have to get some sun, but we, I cover up so much because it's like a anti-aging thing. It's like cover up, put that big hat on. But I don't know. I think I need some sun. So I'll probably just not wear a hat all the time and then, get some age spots instead. I don't know. Anyway, let's look for some Bible verses. I'm not technically diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, but there's a suspicion that I may have that. So that's why I'm so random. Maybe. I always thought it was because I was an artist, but it's probably because, you know, maybe it's because I'm neurodivergent. I don't know. I always thought when in thinking about my mind and how it works, I always thought, well, I think I process things differently. But I just attributed that to just being creative and, kind of thinking, I see the big picture or the kind of a global picture, and sometimes I miss the details of things. But I think it might be, you know, attention deficit disorder or something. I don't know. But all that to say, let's now turn toward the Bible and anchor ourselves. Because let me anchor myself here. So we will, let's see. I'm just going to read Bible promises about, I don't know, see if I can find anything about God. Oh, wait, there was something I wanted to read instead of the Bible promises. I wanted to read, I think it's Psalm 50, because there's a line in there, a verse that I love. Let me see, Psalm 50. Okay, I'm going to read Psalm 50, a psalm of Asaph. The mighty one, God the Lord, speaks and summons the earth from the rising of the sun to where it sets. From Zion, perfect in beauty, God shines forth. Our God comes and will not be silent. A fire devours before him, and around him a tempest rages. He summons the heavens above and the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather to me this consecrated people who made a covenant with me by sacrifice. In the heavens, proclaim his righteousness, for he is a God of justice. Listen, my people, and I will speak. I will testify against you, Israel. I am God, your God. I bring no charges against you concerning your sacrifices or concerning your burnt offerings, which are ever before me. I have no need of a bull from your stall or of goats from your pens, for every animal of the forest is mine, and the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know every bird in the mountains, and the insects in the fields are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine and all that is in it. Do I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? Sacrifice thank offerings to God. Fulfill your vows to the Most High, and call on me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you will honor me. But to the wicked person, God says, what right have you to recite my laws or take my covenant on your lips? You hate my instruction and cast my words behind you. When you see a thief, you join with him. You throw in your lot with adulterers. You use your mouth for evil and harness your tongue to deceit. You sit and testify against your brother and slander your own mother's son. When you did these things and I kept silent, you thought I was exactly like you. But I now arraign you and set my accusations before you. Consider this, you who forget God, or I will tear you to pieces with no one to rescue you. Those who sacrifice thank offerings honor me, and to the blameless I will show my salvation. Okay, everybody, that's the end of Psalm 50, and the reason I wanted to read it, and it is a powerful, strong psalm, but I just love the verse 10 and 11. For every animal of the forest is mine, and the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know every bird in the mountains, and the insects in the fields are mine. I love that even the insects are his. I was telling Henry this morning, I said, Henry, do you know that you belong to the Lord and that you're his? And he just looked up at me lovingly. But anyway, that's why I like this psalm. But yeah, I mean, it seems like the Lord is saying it's not about the sacrifices at this point. It's about calling on him in the day of trouble, and he will deliver you, and you will honor him. It's about not being a hypocrite and saying, reciting God's laws and saying all the right things, but then there's actually a lot of, it's like leading a double life. I guess people can say they're, we know that a lot of evil has been done in the name of God. You know what I mean? It's easy to say that I follow God, but then, it's just like Jesus said, you will know them by their fruit, you know? Not to say that people who mess up, and we all mess up and we're all battling the flesh and sin and whatever else the world throws at us, and we stumble and fall sometimes. That doesn't mean you're not a believer, but it seems like in this psalm, God is frustrated with people who are going through the motions, basically. You know what I mean? Just going through the motions and offering sacrifices back in that day, of the, but their heart is far from God, and they're doing all these evil things, and it's, they're not really following God. And then I love verse 2, from Zion, perfect in beauty, God shines forth. It's interesting. That's why that word is so attacked, because it's all over the Bible, and God, it's special to God, Zion. Um, there was something else interesting. Our God comes and will not be silent. Yeah. And then the Lord actually speaks in the psalm. But there was something I wanted to something about where he says, you thought I was like you. And like, because he kept silent. Where is it? Oh, when you did the verse 21, when you did these things and I kept silent, you thought I was exactly like you. But I now arraign you and set my accusations before you. Yeah. I mean, God does keep silent sometimes, and you think, oh, well, I guess that's okay if I do this and that. And that's really not okay. But I think, in light of the Messiah, in light of Yeshua and what he's done for us on the cross, like Paul says in uh, the Apostle Paul, he says, there's therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Yeshua HaMashiach, in Christ Jesus, because Yeshua, took what was due us upon himself. He took all that we were accused of, and he absorbed it so that we wouldn't have to suffer the penalty, and then we could then be reconciled to God. But anyway, those are just some thoughts about this passage, but I just wanted to read it because I absolutely love verse 10 and 11. I'm going to read it again. For every animal of the forest is mine, and the cattle on 1,000 hills. I know every bird in the mountains, and the insects in the fields are mine. Yeah, all of the creatures are the Lord's. He knows every bird. I was thinking, because I don't know about you all, but I have watched the Eagle Cam, at Big Bear in California, and that little baby eaglet didn't make it, and everybody was so sad. I was so sad. But I kept thinking, well, that bird, the Lord knew that bird, that little eaglet, and he just gathered it back to himself. That's what I'm going to think about now every time I pass roadkill or a dead animal on the road. I just think, okay, that animal was the Lord's, and he gathered it back to himself. Well, let's say a prayer, and then I'm going to make 2 more videos. Yeah, I'll post this on Saturday. Okay. Lord, thank you for your word. And sometimes as I read it, it's very strong and a little intimidating, but then at other points, it's really comforting. I pray for everybody who's watching or listening, especially animal lovers, that they would know that every animal is yours. You're just lending them to us to bless us because you created and designed them. And that's, they're a blessing that you've given to us, but they're yours. Pray for my country for peace and for people to love one another here. I pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the protection of Israel, and for all the people who care for pets in war-torn regions, that you and children and families and adults who have little ones, little pets in these war-ravaged areas, that you would guide them, protect them, lead them out of harm's way. Pray all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, in Jesus' name. Amen, everybody. Okay, I have to make another video. Okay, bye.